Looks like we have one more interview this evening. Want to remind everybody, though, about the award ceremony here tomorrow, starting at 3 o'clock, and that'll run till right about 4:30 or thereabouts. And we will be streaming that live for you. I'm Harold, and right now it's time for our last interview of the evening. And Sunshine, you're up.
All right. Am I on? Okay. This is Sunshine, and I'm here doing the K-Mud live stream at the 12th annual Emerald Cup in Santa Rosa at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds. I have with me Jeff Lowenfels. Welcome.
Nice to
And
see you again.
nice to see you too.
Absolutely.
And accompanying him is Tom Alexander.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You probably wonder why Tom is here.
Well, yeah, I am
Yeah.
kind of
You thought
I was his bodyguard,
He
but then
was.
he
really.
Well, actually, here's the story on Tom. We were going to do an interview about teaming with microbes, and the story about teaming with microbes is I used to be very, very chemical.
No way.
Oh, big
Really?
chemical. I was a chemical head.
What kind of
Mr.
what
Miracle Grow.
Really?
Yeah, oh, big time. And I used to go to garden writer meetings, and Tom would go. And Tom, incidentally, started a magazine called Sensimilla Tips, which we can talk about later
okay,
on.
yeah.
He is one of the original. But anyway, so we would argue about, nitrogen, for example. And I would say, it didn't matter if it's a manure or if it's for green powder. The plant doesn't care. It's nitrogen. And Tom would go, yeah. And we would argue about this. And so one day, Tom Alexander sends me, in the middle of the winter, this picture that's in the book of the nematode being strangled by a single fungal hyphae. And he sends me this picture, and it said, you lose soil food web under it. And I spent the next 48 hours trying to figure out what the hell he was talking about. And that was my introduction to the soil food web, was through this email from Tom
You
Alexander.
were like, I'm not going to lose. What's he talking about?
Well, it turned out that I did lose. And I became the biggest soil food web head in the world as a result of him sending me this little picture. So he is responsible for teaming with microbes.
That's really cool, because now you're presenting at Acres. You're like,
Well,
you
all
go
over the
around
place.
around
But more
educating.
important, Tom and I and our good friend Jorge Cervantes, who's not here today.
He's
we
in
We
Spain.
also go around and we lecture as the three old amigos. I guess we're just the three amigos of cannabis, because we've been doing this for a long, long time.
Wow. And
You're a puppy.
yeah.
Compared to Tom.
Well, I do remember Sensimilla Tips.
You
do. I might have been a kid reading it, but I do remember.
Did you hide it at night? Did your parents come in your room? Did you kind of?
No, it was
It was
white. It was there on the table with the fabulous
there.
Furry Freak Brothers.
So you could probably say that I'm doing the interviewing here, folks. You got this job as a result of Tom Alexander. This is a very pivotal person in the movement.
Yeah,
I just want to put that out.
for sure. I mean, I
Jeff likes to exaggerate
I am
things.
not exaggerating. I am
the
telling
whole
you.
thing was
If George was
happening-
here, he would say the same thing.
No, the whole thing was happening, and I got into it at the right time, which was very early. I've been growing since 1975, when I didn't know there were male and females, and I put a seed in the ground, and the male exploded in August, and I thought I hit the jackpot, when it really just gave us a bad
He had
headache.
14 kids by then. Then he figured out the birds and bees, but other than that, it was okay.
well,
Oh, sorry.
and that
Is
was
this a mixed audience, this show?
yeah. This is great. You're talking to the Emerald Triangle. We got
Yeah.
Humboldt, Mendocino, and Trinity, and we're also on the World Wide Web.
And this is the best Emerald Cup ever. Oh my gosh, this
Wow.
It's
Oh.
exponential.
is exponential.
Exponential.
You
The
see
dab
what, see
got
what
my
happens when you
tongue.
start this stuff in 1972? Oh no, okay, sorry.
Yeah. Well,
No, this has been incredible. This year compared to previous years.
this is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
This is. I have to admit, I'm really.
I mean, the way it's going, they could outgrow this place. They might have to have it in Moscone Center or someplace,
Could be.
because the way it's growing, it's unbelievable.
We might have to limit the number of people that come to this thing.
Oh, we'll just have to have more of them.
Of course, I agree
This
with
is
that.
a beautiful. This is beautiful. What the Emerald Cup is, and what
Right.
the
And
the
Tim and
vision
all the
that
people
Tim
who put
Blake.
it together. Oh my gosh.
This has done so much for outdoor growing, because it has been a little bit kind of. We're wondering if outdoor was actually
It's
going to
the
take
best.
off. It's been.
It's the best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're outdoor, if you're soil, you are growing the healthiest, most nutritious, best tasting, finest plants you can possibly grow. And that's not teeming with microbes, that's teeming with nutrients. I had to throw that in
I
there.
love that
Dum-dum.
book. Teaming with Nutrients has been changed
Well,
the
thank
way
you.
it's changed the way that I do my
Really,
growing.
because I wrote that book for myself. The first one I wrote because Elaine Ingham and I and Tom and we all think, oh gosh, we got to do a self. The second one I wrote for myself. The third one, which is coming out
Whoa, tell me.
January 6th, 2017,
Okay.
because it was just turned in, is going to be on mycorrhizal fungi. Because you got to have a trilogy, so that Tom can call me Lord of the Roots. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You didn't told me that joke.
Is this playing late in the afternoon? You told me to make some jokes. I mean,
We're doing good. We're doing good. We're
okay,
doing good.
I'm just checking.
Jeff's a magician too. He spellbinds people at the bar, and
Yeah.
he's
So we should go to the bar.
So what's this next book going to do for the cannabis grower?
Well, from my perspective, and we talked a little bit about this morning. Coincidentally, it wasn't really had anything to do with it. Mycorrhizal fungi really make the biggest difference. Anything that you can do to a plant to make it grow better, of course, is important. But when you put the right mycorrhizal fungi, and there are two, and there's really one that's the best, and they've just changed the name of it. And when you use that mycorrhizal fungi from the get-go on your plants, you are going to have the best plant.
Okay, all right. What's the old name and what's the new
Okay,
name?
the old name was Glomus interateraceus, or something of that sort, Latin. The new name is Rhizophagus irregularillaris. And if you didn't follow that, wait until January 2017. It's in the book.
And
No,
you'll
there's another one called Glomus mossi, which I don't know the new name of it. Maybe that's I don't know. They've changed.
where can I find this? How can I cultivate it in my garden?
You can find it at any good grow store. They've got this one particular or two particular endomycorrhizal fungi, and if they don't have them, it's not a good grow store. I kid around a lot. Tom kids around a lot. But we both are big believers in mycorrhizal fungi.
I published articles in the early 1980s in Sensomia Tips about mycorrhizal fungi and humic acid
They're
and
so
fulvic acid.
It turns out that what people do when they garden, they till, they overcultivate the soil, they just screw up the mycorrhizal fungi like you cannot believe.
Oh, yeah.
And 20 years ago and 15 years ago, we used to think, well, they're everywhere. You don't have to once they're there. That's not true. And they don't sporulate in a field or a garden the way they do in pots. And so you need to add them if you're growing outdoors every single
They do
year.
better in pots.
They
do better in
actually sometimes will sporulate in the pots, and so that you can reuse that soil without adding new mycorrhizae.
Wow.
Often. But not necessarily in fields. What they've discovered, at least with wheat and some of this stuff, sometimes it takes up to 5 years before they'll sporulate again. So you got to continually add this. Anyway, it's all fascinating stuff. And
Wow.
and the best gardeners in the world are cannabis growers, and that's how we really can pick
So-
And the roots have to come in contact
Right.
with the powder or whatever you add to
the
the.
seed. You put it start
All right.
right
I
at
have
the
to
beginning.
admit, I do use for my the only packaged microorganisms that I use is BioAg's. The BioAg. I use their TM7. Oh, it's the VAM.
Oh, VAM. Okay, yeah.
I use VAM.
Yeah, and that's what you want. It's an endomycorrhizal fungi, which the VAM is. We don't use that term. I say we like. I'm a big scientist. What do I know? That term they don't use that much anymore because it turns out there's some that are mycorrhizal fungi that are not VAM-like, and it's all complicated. But it's in the book, all simplified in teeming fashion.
Wow. And you are, I don't know if you have someone help you with your writing or your editing, but
You know what writing is?
I-
Writing is being a rabbit, and you go in the rabbit hole, and you're there until you can come out and finish.
I feel so smart after reading your books.
Well, thank you so much. Thank
I
you.
can't believe how much I get out of that. I'm like, wow.
I'm so embarrassed because I'm just a fraud. I'm a lawyer. I don't know anything. What do I know? But it's fun.
Tom,
The most
what does he know?
dirtiest lawyer
I'm
in the
America's
country.
dirtiest lawyer. That's right. Ta-dum-dum. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Tom, you you've been cruising through the Emerald Triangle and probably getting some Sensimia tips while you were there over the years, even while you were writing.
Give us a tip.
Give us a
Well,
What's
I
your
was
tip
at
for
the Golden Tarp Awards a couple months ago, and that's going to become the big, all across the country. Light dep is going to,
Light deprivation.
yeah, light
Growing,
deprivation.
To grow using light deprivation.
You know, it started in the mid-'90s with putting refrigerator boxes over plants, and now it's moved to mechanized timers that totally
Wait a minute.
darken-
Wait. You don't have to use a refrigerator box anymore?
No,
What do people use?
they use these, you know, motorized timed program things.
No, yeah, some of them do, but
See, because in
I just
Alaska,
can't
what we
afford
do is
that.
we use a refrigerator for a smoker
Oh,
for the salmon, and then we use them for light deprivation in the wintertime. There's a little smoky, salmony smell on your
little
cannabis.
cedar flavor
It's
there.
good stuff, though.
But
okay,
that-
sorry, I'm just kidding around.
that's going to be sweeping the country, all over the country, and
How
You know,
long
they
has she
s-
been
in-
doing this?
in Colorado, they're moving out of the warehouse into greenhouses, and that's going to be all across the country because the electricity is crazy.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Where do you see Garberville, Southern Humboldt County in, say, 5 years?
Well, groups like the Emerald Family Growers and True Humboldt and all the groups that have
Cooperatives.
cooperatives and collectives, which, you know, vegetables did the same thing with the Grange and the cooperatives that sold vegetables 80, 90, 100 years ago. And the same thing's going to happen with cannabis. It's going to be cooperatives, collectives, which naturally formed to supply the dispensaries, but now they can become for-profit companies with the new laws and regulations. And so,
Seed
know, the-
catalogs, like tomato seed catalogs. We're going to have cannabis seed catalogs.
well,
Can you imagine? Woo! Wow.
Yeah,
Times
that-
have changed, folks. Woo.
Yeah, I would have to say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just one of the nice things about being here, or just what I have to admit, I've been a little bit fearful about all the change that's happening. But recently I made a decision that I'm not going to be fearful anymore. I'm going to be hopeful, and I'm going to be optimistic that our culture will flourish with this change.
Don't you think it's already, a lot of the stigma has fallen away, and people are saying, well, no, you can't. No, don't do that. That's wrong. I mean, it's the politicians are listening a little bit more. Maybe not here, but they are in Alaska. And if they're not in Alaska, they better start listening because we rule. Period.
We do rule, but we don't know that we rule.
No, we know we rule. They don't know that we rule. And every time you have an election where they bring the issue up and they get their shit kicked out of them, like we had in Alaska, we had a woman, and she wanted to run for mayor. And she said, no, we're going to ban pot. No, all this. She got 300 votes. She's the major candidate. 300 votes.
but the final battle is going to be local. I mean, the
that was
majority of
local.
landmass of California prohibits and bans cannabis.
Come on, what's that for?
All types of growing, dispensary, delivery, they ban it totally in the majority of the land. Now, the population centers are more liberal, and the really smart cities like Arcata, California, and Oakland, California, and Boulder, Colorado, are creating cannabis enterprise zones where they want everything there to be cannabis, so tours come and tourism flourishes. The latest data out of Colorado, 40% of the tourists said they decided Colorado because it was legal.
Yeah, you have a
And-
choice between skiing in Colorado and Montana. Well, I think, the mountain's the same.
So, and the data that we're going to have in the coming
But the
years,
snow is different. Oh, sorry,
the data that we can,
guys. It's much brighter. Your future's brighter in Colorado.
the data that we have coming out of Colorado, Washington, Oregon, showing the positive benefits. The governor of Colorado saying, well, I was against it, but now I'm for it, and it's going to proliferate all over the country.
So-
And
Yeah, I mean, you ever see Colorado reversing? No. I mean, what's happened in Colorado is they said, wait a second, that's a stupid reg. You need to change that. Now they got a little pesticide problem. They'll fix it. But they're never going to get rid of cannabis in Colorado, period. And we'll never get rid of it in Alaska, and you'll never get rid of it in California.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, especially the day California can export, that's going to be
Where do you think Don
huge.
Trump stands on this? Where is Donald Trump on cannabis? Fortunately, because he's such a bad person, we'll
He
never
needs-
have to worry about
He
it.
needs to consume
he
a
won't
lot
get
of
away.
it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
He'd like to think it's dumbing us down, but we know. We
We're
know
on
what's
to
going
him.
on.
We're on to Don. We're on to you, Don, you bastard. Okay, so. This is fun. I like this show.
Yeah, this is cool.
Well, one of the things, the new legislation, this money guy from Napster is probably going to have the ballot measure, is it doesn't allow home growing, and home growing has to be allowed.
No way. That's going to get voted down. In fact, I mean,
It's got all the money in.
well, it doesn't really matter because what we have is it's
Homes.
already done.
We have
It's
homes.
already done. We don't have to legalize. We have a regulatory framework for commercial marijuana. We don't have to vote for any of these ballot measures.
No, but don't you want to be able to grow it in your own home?
well,
Yeah, but
of
the
course.
ballot measure doesn't allow it.
I know, but let's figure this out. That's your home. Fuck you. Pardon me.
Totally. I agree about.
Come in my home and tell me I can't grow a plant in my own home. Just try it.
You know what? Yeah, exactly. And if I have to, I'll go right back into the woods and I'll just,
Yeah,
you know
well,
what I
that's
mean?
the
I'll
choice.
always, I can go right back to being that.
Gorilla.
Exactly.
You know, we've talked, because Tom and I are in the sort of quasi-gardening, writing business industry. We've talked to people about this is the next tomato. This is the next tomato in the garden world, not
like
in the cannabis world. This is, Mary Ellen, who graduated from Swarthmore. She's 55 years old, and she's got a little greenhouse, and she's got a beautiful marijuana plant in there that she loves. This is it, and she'll grow one every year, and it's going to happen. Don't you
And
agree?
it's going to be used in the landscape for purples and
Gorgeous
reds,
plant.
colors, and fragrance, as long as you don't grow skunk and,
This is the garden writing side. We go to conventions of regular garden writers, not cannabis garden writers, and and people talk about it like in this fashion. Can you imagine instead of Cleome using a purple Urkel, in your hedge? I mean, why not? It's gorgeous. Well, someone will steal
It'll just
it.
be in the backyard all the time, because if it's in the front, it would get stolen.
It's true. That
Yeah.
is
But
very
it's
unfortunate.
pretty, because cannabis growers come from, they're self-taught. This is a folklore kind of, it's been folkloric. The information, it's
Yeah.
been taught orally. It hasn't been
It's
really so much writing about it. And being in a competitive marketplace that's going to be coming upon us soon as farmers is being more sophisticated growers. And that's where Jeff, your books come in, and I think they'll be very helpful for the growers in terms of how can I use nutrients in a more effective way?
So,
How can
hope
I?
you're right, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It should
I'd
definitely.
love to find somebody who can translate the books into Spanish. I can find somebody to translate into Spanish. A publisher for Spanish.
What? There's Spanish. There's
It's in 7
There's
other
the,
languages, but Spanish is one we're not in.
Is it in Bulgarian and Laotian?
It's in Slovakian, Polish, French, Korean, and some other esoteric languages. I don't know. But Slovakian, there are only like 3,000 people who speak that language. I'm sorry, that's not true. Don't write in. Because Summer does not need grief. She's been doing this all day long.
Sunshine.
Oh, excuse me, sunshine. Summer sunshine.
No, it's great. It's great.
Did you lose your pace on that one?
No.
You lost your place. She did. She lost her place, Tom.
Actually, what I'm thinking about is
Dinner.
I have
You're thinking about dinner.
No, what I'm thinking about is my latest fermentation. That's right. I have fermented some things, and I don't know what I've created, but I just use my nose. And if it smells good, I'll use it. Doesn't smell good, I don't use it.
Fermentation is definitely the next wave, don't you think?
I love it. I love it. I fermented nettles. I fermented like a hemp milk. Well, I took fresh cannabis and I brewed it into raw hemp milk with like some chai tea, and I let it go bad in the refrigerator. I didn't want to waste it. So I took it out, I dumped it all in a bucket, and I just left it there. I'd smell it, stir it. And
Well,
then
I'm not sure of that. I thought you
strained it.
meant fermentation like pickling.
No, I do like open fermentation.
You do? Oh,
You don't like open fermentation?
Well, I don't know about the safety.
Well, I
Don't try
drink-
this at home unless you really just want to try this at home.
Yeah, I just put it on the. I like to have it.
Is it safe though? It could be. It could go anaerobic. It could have E. coli in
Oh
there.
no, it's not anaerobic. You'll smell it if it goes anaerobic. It will get a bad smell.
It only
So
takes-
it's like kombucha, sort of?
No,
No?
it's just I don't know. I just been experimenting with about 8 days of open
you got any?
fermentation.
Let's try some.
Oh my god! Actually, I'll tell you what. I don't drink that, but I do drink the nettles. I did have a batch that clarified. It was amazing. Everyone was like, everything I read about fermenting nettles. was
Amazing
bad.
what? You woke up the next day and you said, where was I for the, what, amazing, what do you
Well,
mean amazing?
What I mean by amazing is that it smells good, and it's settled, and it clarified. And it's still good to this day on my shelf, and it's 6 months old, and it's just like in a jar with a lid on it. It's not
And what's
even
it do
like
for you?
sealed. Nettles do a lot.
No, I know, but what is that particular, when you drink it, how do you feel?
I've pretty fine.
Okay,
Fine,
I'm just
fine. But you know, making a fertilizer that I can drink and I can give to my plants, it's kind of cool.
It is cool. It's very cool, actually. But I would definitely be really scared of E. coli.
I'm not too worried about E.
All right.
coli.
You look
I'm not
pretty
too
good.
worried.
You know, you're doing okay. And,
It's,
and look
Well,
at the stamina
actually,
you've got.
nettles have formic acid, and formic acid kills E.
Kill it.
coli.
I know.
So I use it as a wash at harvest for my plants as well.
So this is not stinging nettle, or it is stinging?
This is stinging nettle.
Yeah. And you pick it before, or early.
Ideally, you want to pick it at the start of flowering.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works.
I never heard of it. But
So how long have you been doing this today?
Today?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've lost track of time. I'm not really sure. I'm in this room.
Are any of these guys next?
No, man, we're shutting this place down.
So why are we keeping you up?
Yeah, man.
We're not
'Cause
the
I'm-
party. You know, we
We
could.
You know how much I spent weeks reading your book? Weeks. I spent it I read over it. I read each chapter twice, underlining it, going back through it.
I'm embarrassed. Yeah.
It's great. That Teaming with Nutrients,
Thank you.
it's a really good book.
Gosh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm definitely using less.
Yeah, you know.
one of
maybe-
the, I would
Yeah.
see Jeff while he was writing it and researching it and stuff. He said one of the interesting things is the pictures of space are identical to the microscopic pictures of the soil food web.
Yeah.
Like it looks.
Inside the cell and space. That's what my talk's about tomorrow. I mean, I'm not.
You're going to talk about the
I'm talking about
plant
teaming with
cell
nutrients.
biology?
Yeah, that's good.
Really?
Nutrient
What time?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. Oh,
2
I
o'clock.
want to be there.
Yeah, it's going to be a kind of a trippy little talk, but yeah, it's kind of an amazing thing that what goes on inside a plant cell is freaking incredible.
It is. After
You know,
reading
it was
about
hard for us to imagine how small they are. They're so small. So in a cannabis plant, there might be 36 trillion cells. Now, here's the amazing thing. If you get inside one of those cells, once you're inside one of those cells, you can go anywhere in that plant without ever leaving, the cytoplasm. You're in there the whole way. You can go left, right, up, down, anywhere. You can go inside the cell wall and travel from cell wall to cell wall to cell walls and never get inside the plant.
Right. Yeah.
And then you sit there and you say, okay, so I'm going to put some kelp on it because kelp's got 61 minerals in it. No, these plants only use 17 elements. When you put that kelp on, you're not feeding the plant. You're feeding the microbes.
You are feeding the microbes.
You're not getting the 61 elements in this kelp into your plant. They only take 17 nutrients in.
Right.
And each one comes through a different tunnel. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and what is it, boron?
Boron
That's
happens to
only-
be the only one that doesn't have a charge.
Yeah, it doesn't have a charge. It can just go right into the plant.
Yeah, which I didn't make up. Somebody else studied that. I didn't make. I mean, I had to research
yeah,
this stuff like
for
crazy.
sure.
And so I would write these books. I write that second book, and Tom, I hardly ever get to see him or talk. You go in this little hole, and you get in there, and then all of a sudden, something catches you. Like, wait a second. The inside of these cells are just like the world. There's a transportation system, there's an infrastructure for communication, there are bad guys and good guys, there's a FedEx packaging system, post office, energy system, Con Edison. Holy cremolo. It's exactly like, and teaming with microbes, the stomach is just like the soil. It's too mind-boggling, and when you smoke weed on top of everything
I was
else.
going to ask you, did
He has
cannabis
outrageous
help you
dreams at
write the?
night.
It's like I dream in Technicolor, because I'm seeing cellular stuff going. I close my eyes and I can see my eye cells. They have everything but chloroplasts in them. They're just like plants.
We just came from the VIP tent.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Nice.
We're just screwing around here, because you said, to do so. But
No, it's good to.
who produces this
You
show?
have been so serious writing that book.
Who's the
for s-
producer here of this show? You one of you guys? You the
This is
producer?
K-Mode. This is K-Mode.
Nobody produces K-Mode.
No, we produce. We produce. We got Eric Johnston over here. He's producing.
No sponsors though.
This is community radio.
I know.
Any listeners who are enjoying this conversation can go to kmud.org and hit the red Donate Now button.
Thank you. We really would appreciate it, and you get quality show like this when you do that. Jorge, maybe Jorge has something to say. Oh no, he's not here.
Yeah, I had him. He was on here last year. That was
He's fun. We have fun with Jorge. We've known him for.
He lives in Barcelona half the year and Sonoma half the year, and he's in Barcelona.
And we go back so far. We knew him before he smoked weed.
35 years ago.
You knew him before he smoked weed?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, he smoked weed then.
Okay, he's been doing it since he was 2.
You've been smoking weed longer than...
Probably. I'm older than he is. Lot better looking.
I've done almost 50 years. I mean, if they want to study somebody, come and study me. I still play ice hockey, softball. I'm like really active
And in our prior lives, we were both in Jamaica, so we would go a couple hundred years of smoking weed. Don't you think? Yeah, we do.
That's cool. That's cool. Have you seen any weed since you've been here?
Yes.
And did you like what you saw?
This is some very nice looking weed.
Oh.
You know, it's funny because, let's get a little serious here for a second. When you live in Alaska, before things become, legal sale-wise, and as it's lately become, you smoke the same stuff forever. People call it Matanuska Thunderfuck, there's White Widow, and that's about it. You go down to Oregon where it's been legal, California, there's 40 different names, different flavors, different tastes, and it's just here, when you come here, this is the origin for most of those. Oh my God, it's unbelievable, the stuff that's out there. Beautiful, gorgeous, trichomes, perfectly taken care of. Unreal. This is a unbelievable show. If nobody's ever been here, they need to come.
Eric, you want to bring that jar of loopy fruit over here?
Yeah, oh yeah, bring that over. That's the biggest cola I have seen this week. We saw that, didn't you? Oh my God, look at this thing. That is incredible. So who grew this?
This is Sunbolt grown. This would be myself here.
Oh, I can barely lift it. Okay, ready, folks? I'm gonna hold it up. Let me hold it up high.
That is not a dense bud. It's all right.
Okay, sorry.
It's not dense, but it's...
Boy, it's a beauty, though. Damn, that's good. Let's crack it up right now.
Oh, man, that smells good.
It does, doesn't it?
You can crack up.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, this is a loopy fruit. Yeah,
You like
that's a nice one.
Okay, so here's my big criticism of this show, though. I vaporize flowers. Volcano when you're inside. And I've got all these little portable vaporizers. No combustion. I don't combust.
He has enough portables to open a museum.
I test them. I try them out all the time. If anybody out there has one you want me to test, anyway, nobody here does. There's one place that sells vaporizers here. Do you ever vaporize flowers?
I do, but to be honest, I'm a joint person.
Really?
Yeah.
You're showing your age
I get
now.
kind of bored
You're young, that's why.
I get kind of bored with the vaporizing, actually.
Here, Tom, hand this to George. Oh, that's not the microphone. Look at that thing. George likes it.
Right on. Yeah,
We
cool.
like it.
So
Well, who grew that?
that's myself.
Whoa.
Yep.
Very nice.
Did you enter it?
I did enter it. I did. I entered it.
Oh.
Loopy fruit. This was the year for loopy fruit.
Think you're going to do okay?
I think I'm gonna do all right.
Is that sativa or indica?
It's probably mostly indica.
And how many days from seed to finish? Roughly. 2 months, 3 months.
I mean, like, how long does it flower, or how long did I grow
take you
it
to
for?
grow the plant? Wait a second. Was I clear there?
Yeah, you
Okay.
were. You were. It's probably like about 5 months. Yeah.
Wow. 5 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
All outdoor.
Jeff grows
I
outside.
grow outdoor.
Well, I mean, we're in Anchorage, Alaska, where you can grow snow peas, snowball cauliflower, and, iceberg lettuce. Dun-dun-dun. Oh, sorry. No, we get a little bit longer season than that, but 5 months outdoors. Wow.
Yeah. You can get some good. I actually flower in the winter too,
Wow.
and so I do like 3 crops a year.
Wow.
I do a crop that I harvest, and I don't pull tarp on it. I grow it early before light depth, and so maybe like I flower from about the middle to the end of February to about the 1st of May. And then I don't have to cover it. It's great. Just flowers. I do use supplemental light in the greenhouse. And then I do a depth crop after that, and then, yeah, and then.
No wonder you're so happy.
I love farming and
Yeah.
growing. It's fun. It's so good to be here at the Emerald Cup. This is a cultivation-centric
It is.
event, and it's wonderful.
Have you gone to any of the talks? No, because you're up here.
And I saw a little, but not too much.
Well, come to
Saw a
mine
little
tomorrow
bit.
at 2
I would love to come.
It's not really an information talk. It's Tom. Tom gives information.
Tom's coming?
I give
I'm
entertainment.
gonna check that out.
It's entertaining. That's what it is to me.
Nice. So I'm really looking forward to your book, the
Well,
next
thank you.
one. What's the
Thank
name
you.
of it again?
Teaming. Well, I think you never know about.
Okay, all right. You don't have a title.
No, it should be. It should. It will be because I put it in the contract. Teaming with mycorrhizal fungi, the Organic Gardener's Guide to Mycorrhizae.
Nice.
I think that's.
Nice. Cool. And just one more question. How did you discover that microorganism?
Which one?
The one that you just wrote your book about?
Oh, I didn't discover them.
Well, you didn't discover it. Well, you
No,
you didn't discover it, but you.
They have been around since 18.
It's not that you discovered it.
No. This was discovered back in the late 1800s, and the reason why a lot of people have never heard of them, most cannabis growers now have heard of them, but a lot of people never heard of them. They were discovered at the same time the fungicide industry, the chemical fungicide industry, came into being. Germans, late 1800s, Germans made this discovery, and unfortunately, industry always wins, and they beat this. But 96% of plants on the planet Earth have this relationship with these fungi. Cannabis happens to have a relationship with two of them.
Two of them?
Two particular
Okay,
ones.
all right. Which two particular are
The
those?
first one was the.
Write these down.
Gonna
Write these
make
down.
me say it again. The new name is Rhizophagus
You're
irregularis, and the other one is, I don't know the new name for the other one, but I think it's the old name is Glomus. It might be Glomus mossi. I can't.
Wow.
It's out there on the net someplace.
And they're found in associated
Those
with
two
cannabis.
associate with cannabis, and even in hydroponic systems, I might add. And if the chemicals are right, and there is no question, with them you will use fewer nutrients because they go out and they get stuff, as you know, they get nitrogen, phosphorus, copper, zinc, and a little bit of water too. In a drought situation, those vesicles, vesicular.
Yes, you're on
God
it. You're
darn
on
it. Vesicular.
Activated?
No.
No. Are you sure it's not activated?
No. Anyway, it's the vessel part I want to talk about. The vessel part actually is where the transfer takes place in the cell between the fungi and the plant. And it's liquid. And so in a drought situation, that liquid that's in there helps the plant considerably. Because there's a lot of liquid, particularly if you've got a heavily infected plant. So it helps in a drought situation. Here we are in California, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Definitely. Pot or not.
So
I don't mean smoke. Yeah. Soil pot, hydroponic, one of these.
I want to do less irrigation in the summer,
This is it.
but I also am feeding my microbes.
Yes.
So part of me wants to give a little bit of water on the surface so I can get at least the top 8 inches watered
Yeah.
to keep my microorganisms happy, and that's about all I want to water.
Well, you know, you want to keep the plant happy, which of course the microorganisms do. And if the plant's doing well, you don't have to have wet surface. There is always a water film, microscopic. I mean, incredibly microscopic. There's always a water film, even in a desert, that plants can take advantage of, and microbes even more so. So, yeah, so
Okay.
let the plant be your judge. Don't
Okay,
let the
good.
microbes be the judge.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Plant starts to wilt, you gotta water. You know.
Okay, cool. So if the plant's not wilting, the microorganisms are fine.
should
I don't
be.
have to water. I
What do
can
you
just,
use for mulch?
I don't. It depends. I have my native soil is a clay loam, and so it's better not to mulch it. You just water it once, and then you don't water it for several weeks. It holds water and it has air. It's good.
There are no bare soils in each.
And then, well, I put like a little bit, but I don't like put it on
No, no.
mulch thick. Like
Right.
I just put like a little bit on there.
I like
put a
to
little
use
bit of
alfalfa hay.
alfalfa.
It's expensive, but it's really good.
Get rabbits like crazy. Oh no, sorry. Don't they come in and
Huh.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, I remember using alfalfa back in the day.
It's great.
The
One-
microbes just go
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, one of the reasons is because it's coated with paramecium. And so one paramecium will eat 10,000 bacteria and poop out all the excess nitrogen. So one paramecium, 10,000 bacterium all day long. So they're coated with paramecium, the alfalfa hay. Any hay is, all straw. And man, oh man, oh man.
I put a little bit of alfalfa pellets into my soil mix, depending on the time of year.
Yeah.
I'll put a little bit in there.
Hey, here's a better idea. Not a better idea. It's just a different idea. If you put some of those in a couple of handfuls in a bucket of water, 5-gallon bucket,
Yeah.
stir it a couple, 4 or 5 times a day. Okay, about 48 hours. I don't know why I say 48 hours. I could have said 42, but 48 hours. You go out there and take a look, and you should actually be able to see paramecium. That's George probably. calling.
Whoa, what
You
is?
should be able to see paramecium.
What does it look like?
They're little teeny black dots, and they're little ciliates. Each paramecium eats 10,000 bacteria. You put that stuff down on your soil. In 10 days, it's down in the root system, and those guys are eating like crazy, pooping like crazy, and feeding
What am I
your
going to
plants.
see? I'm going to see black spots.
Little black little dots. Didn't you take
Black
10th
little-
grade high school?
Oh, yeah.
Paramecium. Remember? Everybody who's listening who went beyond 10th grade. You guys all did. You all took home
I don't remember.
a little. No, you all took home a little thing. It looked like the bottom of your shoe. It was a sole, and it had a little gullet for where the thing ate, and you had to label the parts of the paramecium because it was big enough for you to be able to see in those shitty microscopes they had in high school. And that's the only reason people studied them. But it turns out they're a key element recycler in the soil food web. So now we have a real reason to look at it.
I'm going to check those out. I'm going to get
Paramecium.
out my little microscope. I'm going to look at those
You'll
things.
see them.
I'm going to get some. I'm going to
Yeah,
get
cool. Really.
nice.
I usually
nice.
carry a picture. No, I don't.
I'll go down and get some of that alfalfa out in the field and check it out.
Make sure it's organic because GMOs are invading
Well, I'll
the
just-
alfalfa
yeah.
world.
It grows around where I live. I could go collect some, try fermenting it. I don't know if that organism will live through for an open
What
fermentation.
happens is it goes in. It was a zygote stage. Goes to sleep, and then it wakes up. 10,000 years later. Yeah, that's pretty cool stuff.
Wow, that's cool.
So we ought to do this once a week, don't you think?
I think I should just have you on my radio talk show.
We could do this.
Just come on.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
all the time. I used to do radio myself.
Yeah,
Sort of.
I can tell you.
I did a lot of radio.
Nice.
You know, when people don't call in, oh shit, what do I do now? Pardon me.
Yeah, that's for
Yeah.
sure. You got to keep it going.
You do.
Well, you can tune in to the Cannabis Sunday Afternoon Talk Show on KMUD.
What if I want to get it on the web?
It's on the web.
Where do I go?
You go to
I know,
kmud.org.
I'm just helping here. One more time for the producer.
You go you go to kmud.org,
KMUD.org.
and there's a listen live, and then there's an archive.
And if you check the box on the right-hand side, you get a 10% discount. Is there a place I can donate on that
Yeah,
site?
yeah. There's the donate now spot for sure. Be good. So I definitely looking forward to seeing you next year.
You mean so I could come here and help sell teeming with microbes and teeming with nutrients and pre-sell teeming with
Oh
mycorrhizal
man, I
fungi?
can't wait. That's really good.
You can't wait. Oh, my wife's so excited.
Right on, you guys.
Yeah.
So what are your plans for the weekend here at the Emerald Cup?
I'm just following Tom around.
Tom, what are you doing here?
Well, just checking out all the booths, checking out a few workshops, speakers.
Oh, 2 o'clock tomorrow, right? Mine.
Yeah.
Forgot that one.
Jeff's talking
First year I was
tomorrow.
here, went into the VIP tent, it was like holy crow, I got to give a talk in 2 minutes.
Right on.
It was not a great talk. No, it was a fun talk.
Yeah, as you can tell, I have not been participating in the.
Tomorrow, he'll take over.
I'm much too
and you
serious.
come to my talk. We'll have some fun.
Yeah, we will.
Bring the mic.
For sure.
Why don't you just bring
Oh, are
Phil-
you going to be in this room?
You know,
Yeah,
what
I
is
think
this?
you are.
I don't know.
I think you are going to be
I
there.
think
Well, if I
think you are
am, why
gonna
don't you
be
just
next door.
bring the camera out and film the whole damn thing? I
Oh,
don't care.
I can bring the mic in there. Yeah. Cool.
You know what I mean? That gives you a little fill in. Listen, when you do TV, I did TV for a long time too, and when you do columns, you're always looking for free, give me content. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That person who comes in and says, listen, I got a message, I can talk for an hour. You say, here, take the microphone. I don't have to prepare. You've been nice to us.
I
Thank you.
know. It's been fun here. I've been learning a lot. And
We've been keeping
been
you.
good.
You were going to go eat some dinner. This is the end of a long day, and we thank you.
Oh, thank
The
you.
two amigos on behalf of
Thank
the
you too.
What do you say, George?
George. Should we go?
Time to
George?
go get something to eat.
George said we should leave now. Jorge Cervantes, when he talks, the other two amigos, they follow.
Yeah. All right.
Thank
well,
you
have
so
a
much.
good weekend. Thanks for being here. Nice meeting you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Yeah, right. All right. That was